Hi, welcome to the A Face for Radio video series, WAMC's Instagram Live Arts Interview Series. I'm Sarah LeDuc, and today I'm speaking with Neel Murgai, who's this fantastic person I met through a performance that the Brooklyn Raga Massive did at Hudson Hall. I'm really excited to welcome him in, but before I do, I want to say that these interviews are being archived on YouTube. If you search for A Face for Radio and the guest name or my name, which again is Sarah LeDuc, you'll be able to find them. Also, if you're looking for the news that WAMC is primarily focused on at this time, all of our stories, all of our coverage is available at WAMC.org or, of course, on the radio. Tomorrow I'm speaking with curator and president of the Art Museum at the Bunsen William Proctor's Arts Institute in Utica, New York, Anna D'Ambrosio. We're going to talk about what they are doing during the shutdown. And on Friday I'm going to speak with actors, singers, funny people, friends of mine, Kate Baldwin and Graham Rowett. But today, again, Neel Murgai is joining us, and I'm going to welcome him in right now. How is that part of these videos where my eyes go dead while I push the buttons, and then we get people in. I have turned off the comments again just because they are a little bit distracting, and they show up in the video when you play it back in a weird order that doesn't make a lot of sense. And sometimes they block the guest's face completely. Neel, hi. How are you? I can. You're a little bit soft. You are? Thank you so much for joining us. I think I'm turning up my volume. Can you give me a little bit more? Still a little bit quiet. Yeah, I think so. But also I can only hear my voice in the room, so I don't know how balanced we are or not.
How about this one?
That's better, I think.
That's
better.
Is that
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You'll have to hand hold it. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a stand for it? Do you want to take a second and put it in a stand?
No, I'm fine. Thanks.
Okay, cool. So before we speak about your massive amounts of work, tell us what you're comfortable sharing about where and how you're living during the pandemic.
Definitely feeling thankful and privileged to be, in a safe place in my home in Brooklyn with my wife, whose work is still continuing on, and my work is stopped, and we have a 5.5-month-old baby who's keeping us sane with her smiles and evocative sounds.
I bet.
Yeah, so it's been good in that regard, and getting a lot of music done, and listening to all the sirens go by, and not going out too much at all.
No. What
just trying to stay in.
What projects did you have on the table that were suspended, postponed, or canceled when you had to start staying home?
Well, I had a number of gigs that we did. Brooklyn Raga Massive, of course, has a weekly concert series, and we were all shut down. I just released my album, actually, and so was planning to, put together more gigs in this time, and so that all just kind of fell through.
Your album is titled Reorientation. We talked about it for the radio before, like in the very early days of this, and that interview hasn't been able to run. And so when I launched this series, I said, well, I want to make sure that I can help some people know about what Neel's doing over there. Tell me about the sort of tragedy and the rebirth almost of, stuff that surrounded the album. Tell us about the story of the record.
Yeah, I mean, considering what's happening now, like it seems even more reorientation is happening completely again, but originally the album was with around it's songs that I composed a number of years ago, maybe 15 years ago, when I was with another partner of mine who passed away to suicide tragically. And it was a lot of those songs, they just kind of, they sat there. I recorded them after she passed, but then I let them sit. I just couldn't finish off the album because the music was just from such a different time. And since then, I've been remarried and become very happy and helped create Brooklyn Raga Massive, along with many great musicians. And so the album is a reorientation of my own personal
Mm-hmm.
psyche. And so I've incorporated the old compositions with my newer compositions featuring my overtone singing and looping. And I actually set this mic up with this reverb so I could give you a little demonstration of the.
I was so hoping that you would. Go ahead,
So
overtone
yeah, I've
singing.
been very into overtone singing and throat singing, Mongolian throat singing, and they do it also in all over Siberia, and basically making multiple sounds at the same time with your voice, but which we all do all the time anyway. The overtones exist in exact mathematical ratios to the notes we hear. So something like that.
Something like that. It seems like exactly that. I am worried about coming off as ignorant as I ask you more about this, but I'm just going to dive in. I'm just going to wholeheartedly dive in. So
Please.
that music feels very entrancing and meditative to me. Is that an aspect of its origins?
I would say so. I would say so. It's often used in shamanic music out there, and but of course it was developed actually to communicate over long distances. They
Oh,
imitated sounds of animals, like the calf calling for its mother is a sound that travels very far, and those are like they're out in the steppes there. So they can actually these overtones can travel for miles, and you can actually communicate that way. So it's, copying the sounds of animals and nature, water falling, and it's really interesting to get into the mathematical side of it as well, because it's it's our scales are already embedded into the overtone series, the major scale that we use. Um, so it's just mathematically it's there in in the universe, in nature.
how long have you been practicing overtone singing?
I probably about 18 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah, 18 years. I learned from Timothy Hill of the Harmonic Choir, who is amazing teacher, and that's a great group. If you're interested in this kind of music, they pioneered their own method, actually using the vowel sounds,
Okay.
and saying Y really slowly, and then like it's oo o ah a e. If you say Y really slowly, and it sounds like. Then backwards is.
When
So,
did you go ahead? When did you
so
when you go?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Well,
When you
I,
for real, you go.
so that last part is actually is backwards of uoi, and if you add a to the end, it's the primordial sound.
Hmm. So this is absolutely ridiculous anecdote to add to this conversation, but did you ever see the Disney afternoon cartoon Darkwing Duck?
No,
Okay. It's a
lay it
Disney
out, I
show.
guess.
Well, it's pretty good, but one thing have remembered since I was a kid, one time he had to like free climb a wall. Like it's a superhero straightforward. He has a cape and a mask and he is like a dweeb at home. But one time as Darkwing Duck, he had to like free climb a wall and he chanted the vowel sounds. But like he was like
Okay.
A-E-I-O-U and then he said and sometimes Y, like as the gag. And it stuck in my head for my whole life. So there you go. Now you know that, and I apologize.
I actually wrote a children's song about why. You only have to ask why. You only have to ask why. 'Cause why is a question that we ask all the time. But did you ever stop and ask why?
I love that. Kids must love that too.
Yeah, they definitely love it. Yeah.
So how often do you write children's music?
I also have another group called Raga Kids, and
Oh, okay.
we have an album, The Element Suite, right here,
Great.
and we wrote songs based on the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and also and based on ragas, which are the modes of Indian classical music. And so, we have a song for water, um, pani, water, agua, H2O, pani. And actually, we in the Indian solfege, like do re mi fa sol la ti do. In Indian music, it's sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, and then pani in Hindi means water. So that's part of those sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. So you can sing pani, and that's water.
Yeah.
Pani, water. Um, so actually, that's one of the things that I've been doing. That was I had a lot of kids classes that had going on or was organizing, and they got canceled. And I was like, well, let's do them online. And now I'm doing several classes a week, and looking for more students. Get in touch with me if you want if your kids are. I have a 6 to 9-year-old class and under 5-year-old class as well, where we sing all these songs and sing the Indian solfege, and I do some graphics. I've figured out OBS, this open source broadcasting software,
Okay.
to master the video, and I have my Magic Cam effect, and I get the lyrics printed out, across the screen, and trying to do some magic tricks in there too to make it more engaging as possible for the kids.
That's fantastic. That's Raga Kids. What is the best way for people to contact you to learn more about that?
Neel at neelmurgai.com.
Okay, and it's
Neel.
Neel
Yes.
at N.
Murg. Yeah, at neelmurgai.com. neelmurgai.com.
And I'll include is it okay with you if I include your email address when I post this to YouTube later so people can?
Please, yes.
Okay.
And also ragakids.com. You can check out our music there and contact us through there too.
Ragakids.com. Yeah. You're also doing a thing. This is the test of the emergency overtone network. Tell us about that.
That's right. I've been inspired to just try to share music. That's what I have to offer. I'm not leaving my house, and there's so many people out there who are working very hard and in dangerous conditions. So as I said, I've been figuring out this live streaming software, and have added these kind of visuals with my wife's animations. My wife is an artist, and she's made some animations of some of her sculptures and paintings.
Cool.
And so then I mix them together, and with my overtone singing and looping and some percussion playing, and just called it, this is the test of the emergency overtone network. And just been keeping testing. I just participated in the 24-hour drone fest.
At Basilica Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a yearly festival, 24 hours of drone music that, of course, can happen in person. So they invited me to participate online. So I did an hour in that. That was fun. So
go ahead.
People can, you can go to my YouTube channel, Neel Murgai, or follow me on Facebook also for more of those. This is the test of the emergency overtone network.
It's a long name, and I'm finding that when I say, because also a face for radio video series is kind of long, and I feel like as I start to say it, I'm like, am I going to forget a word, or am I just going to trip over all of it? But I haven't too much yet. Not 0%, but not a lot.
And of course, Brooklyn Raga Massive. Right
of course. Yep, it's
Uh,
backwards on the video. Unfortunately, I can't figure out how to
oh well,
mirror it, but
right. um, we've been in a fortunate position that we are a small organization, and so some of the grants that we've gotten, we've talked to our grantors, and they've allowed us to repurpose the funds to try to support our community. So we've of course all the concerts have been canceled for the near until whenever.
nobody
But
knows.
we started having workshops. We're actually offering twice a week workshops free to the public. Um, you can find out more at brooklynragamassive.com, our website. Where on Thursdays we have currently there's a 5-week series on North Indian vocal music taught by Samarth Nagarkar, who is a great singer, lives in New Jersey, part of our community. And so it's very informative for the layperson. We're on to number 4 out of 5 there, but you can catch up through the archive videos on our website. And on starting in a couple weeks, on Thursdays, will be a Hindustani instrumental music
Cool.
workshop. So talking about all the instruments, all the gharanas and different masters of the past. And on Tuesdays, we're having more workshops from people who have been pioneers in fusion and like mixing jazz and raga music. Yesterday we had Samir Gupta, who is one of our founders, a tabla and drum set player. Coming up, we actually have a Cuban music thing with Melvis Santa. So these are all free and available to people. So check our website for the schedule. We're also looking at ways to bring musicians together, in concerts. Of course, there's possible, solo concert and live stream, but we're looking into what technologies we can use to interact together. And of course, there's latency in most of
Right.
these Zoom and this, and but there is some technologies that exist that you can reduce the latency enough to where you can actually play rhythmically together. And so I'm trying to figure out how all that works.
So
But
you're staying home, but you have no downtime at all. It sounds like you're busy as
pretty
ever,
much.
plus the kids.
Plus the kid, yeah. I've just been giving myself a crash course in all of this stuff, and hopefully we can achieve this. And of course, by the time we figure it out, then we'll be off of lockdown.
Yeah. I'm Sarah LeDuc. This is the A Face for Radio video series, WAMC Radio's arts interview series live on Instagram. Today I'm speaking with Neel Murgai of Brooklyn Raga Massive and Raga Kids and his new album Reorientation and tons and tons of things. This is a test of the Emergency Overtone Network is one of the newer things you're doing. So how's your yes.
This is a test of the Emergency Overtone Network. This is only a test.
So it's improvisational. Is
Very
overtone
much,
singing
yeah.
always improvisational?
No, I
Or
mean this is certainly in Mongolia and Siberia they have songs that they do and use it, but then they improvise with it too. Yeah.
so the songs on your album that include overtone singing, they're they're not improvised because they're the
Uh,
songs with the names, or are they?
no, they're mostly improvised.
Okay.
There's like some ideas, some general concept that I've decided on,
Hmm.
and then kind of improvised around it. Like one of them is uh, I move from the 1 chord to 6 to 2 5. 1 6 2 5. It's a very common chord pattern.
If you say
Like
so.
pop music. Yeah, it's like, but except I do that over 10 minutes. So it's like a pop
Oh.
song, like way slowed down and just slowly changing. All of a sudden you're in a new chord. You didn't even know what happens. And then improvising around within that. Um, and then, of course, the other album, the older songs on my album are, I'm a sitar player is actually my main vocation,
Right.
and so I also compose music for my ensemble of two violins, cello, sitar, and tabla, and so we play this kind of raga chamber jazz together. Combining all these different instruments and different ideas of music, from including minimalism and experimental music, and of course the ragas and the Indian rhythms are inherent in all of it.
When did you first begin playing the sitar?
I began in, let's see, 95, so 25 years solidly. I started studying in India, where my family's from, and at that time I traveled around India a lot and lived in India for a year and a half, and somehow ended up playing sitar. Somehow this is my thing 25 years later. That was after I studied civil engineering, actually.
Okay.
I went to Georgia Tech, studied civil engineering, and decided, I'm going to go to India for a year and travel around and kind of see it on my own terms, because
Hmm.
many times I'd been to India before was with family, which is great, of course. Every few years we would go and spend the summer, but also very protected.
Right, of course,
So
yeah.
I could kind of, see India on my own terms. And here I am, sitar and throat singing percussionist 25 years later.
Did you play any instruments before you started playing the sitar? Did you play instruments as a kid?
Sure, yeah. I played trombone growing up in a jazz band, concert band, marching band in school, in high school, and in college. Then in college, I also picked up guitar, and
As one does.
as one does, yeah. And played in rock bands, and it was right after college that I went to India and started sitar. And certainly some of the things from guitar applies to sitar. This strumming with the right hand and picking with the left hand, but there's the whole raga science that's elevates it and makes it a whole other thing.
This is again showing my ignorance, but is there a standard number of strings on a sitar, or are there different
There's
ones?
actually 20 strings on most sitars. There's 20 strings.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, it has. I can show you right here.
That's beautiful.
Play the 20 strings. So there's actually two layers of strings. The bottom layer, I just strum with my pinky nail,
Hmm.
and then the top layer, I pluck and play with like this kind of plectrum here. This
Okay. It's
wire
sort of the shape
plectrum.
of a pick, but has
Sort of
more
the shape of a pick,
layers.
but it like
Oh, I see. Goes
it
on your
fits on
finger.
my finger. Yeah. So then
Gotcha.
it fits very tightly on the finger, and then I kind of pluck with that. And of course, it's made out of a pumpkin, like
Of
a
course.
gourd. It's like
Yeah.
a gourd. A gourd is just like a pumpkin.
Hmm.
This is my routine for the kids. It's like it's made out. What do you carve on Halloween, kids? This is what it's made out of. Well, its
Yeah.
cousin anyway. And then the wood and the strings and the special bridge here. The bridge is called Jawari, and Jawari means to give life to the sound, and it's got a curvature that's happening, and that's what gives that kind of buzzing sound.
Hmm. Yeah, I no definitely hear that.
Yeah. So that buzzing sound is the Jawari, that the curvature of the bridge kind of uh, gives it that texture that makes it sound so different from guitar.
And is part of playing it, getting used to how the buzz happens, or can you control the buzz as you play? Or
You control the buzz by changing the curvature of the string.
Okay.
So you filing it. There's a whole other profession, honestly, of learning to file the bridge because it's just so subtle you can barely see it.
Hmm.
But the string is like vibrating against this curve. Right? If a guitar is just coming off flat, so it's not here. This has all this surface area to touch, and if you have more or less curve, is going to give you different amounts of buzz.
You're
So
very good at
it's a
explaining
whole.
this.
Yeah, I do it a lot.
For kids, which is helpful for me.
And for kids,
Um,
yeah. Right.
do you have more than one sitar? Or do you have one that you use?
I do have a couple actually. Um, yeah, I've picked up a couple over the years.
That makes
But this
sense.
is the one that I play most is the one that I got first, actually. I'm just so used to it. I bought it straight from the maker when I was first learning in Varanasi, India, and so I'm very attached to it.
Absolutely.
And
I'm
the
Sarah
sound
LeDuc.
has really warmed
Go
over
ahead.
the years.
That's common right with the whale. And did you know when you got it, or is it very well made? Is it a really like what would be considered a good or nice sitar? Or is that not part of the equation of Indian music as much as it's
Some sitars are firewood,
mhm.
basically.
Gotcha.
A
Gotcha.
lot of them. But I found a teacher first, and he brought me to the instrument maker, and so that they would hook me up properly and not rip me off,
Right.
because I had no idea at the time what it was. But a lot of the sound is in that bridge, the curvature of the bridge, and setting up the strings right. So any sitar could be made to sound decent, but then it's also evolved. The sitar has evolved a lot. Like as it is now, 100 years ago, it was really different, and
Hmm.
even the Indian classical music was performed really differently back then.
I'm Sarah LeDuc. This is the A Face for Radio video series on Instagram Live. I'm speaking with Neel Murgai. We will archive this on YouTube, and links to all of Neel's various projects will be posted there, shared with the video on YouTube. Before I let you go, Neel, I'm asking people to give sort of entertainment recommendations, highbrow, lowbrow, anything it doesn't sound like you really have time to just be streaming a bunch of shows, but is there anything you've listened to or watched or read that you'd like to pay forward, recommend to people?
Um, Good question. We've been getting into mostly just kind of Netflix and chilling, but we've been into Westworld.
Okay.
They don't need any plugging from me though.
No. Well, what
But I'm
season are
looking.
you on?
We're
Okay.
current, definitely.
Okay. I didn't watch this
And
season yet.
it's taken a whole nother turn for sure. It's like a
Okay.
different show even. I'm looking forward to checking out the ESPN Michael Jordan thing. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm a basketball fan, and I miss the basketball season that'll be happening now. So, going to be checking that out. And also, but really, I've just been enjoying, so many friends on basically going live on Facebook and Instagram and creating videos. So that's really a lot, mostly what I've been enjoying. Just seeing the amount of output people are sharing concerts. All the organizations I know are sharing concert videos,
Right.
and all my friends are going live and sharing their albums. And so I've been really enjoying just listening to the music of people I know, through social media and personally. Yeah.
Before I take you out of the virtual room, could you give us a little more overtone singing?
Definitely.
Neil, thank you
Something
so
like that.
much. No, again, it seems like it's exactly that. I love it very much. Thank you so much for speaking with me again. It's wonderful to see you and hear about everything you're up to, and please stay in touch.
Thank you, Sarah, for sure. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day. It's Neel Murgai. His newest album is Reorientation. And again, we will post links to Brooklyn Raga Massive, Raga Kids, etc. when I share this to YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Once again, tomorrow I will be speaking with Anna D'Ambrosio of the Art Museum at the Munson William Proctor's Art Institute in Utica, New York. And on Friday, I will speak with actors and singers Kate Baldwin and Graham Rowett. WAMC.org for news updates, your coronavirus updates, etc., and all the news that my colleagues are working very, very hard on. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks again to Neel Murgai, and stay safe in there.